Hello, brothers and sisters. Do you remember the villain in The Incredibles? Syndrome? Does that ring a bell? His famous line, when everyone is super, no one is. That's exactly what is happening with AI in music right now. And if you don't understand this, you're going to get left behind. The conversation you're about to hear is about why your mistakes, your imperfections, your weird human quirks, everything that makes you weird, that's your superpower in the age of AI. But before we dive into the conversation, if you want to learn how to build a future-proof music career in this new landscape, one in which big brands are desperately looking for what AI can't replicate, I want you to consider our starter pack. It's a full workshop teaching you how to break into our business, make a living with music right from your home studio. No selling, no streaming, no touring. The link is in the description. Now let's talk about AI and why, if you play your cards right, you have nothing to worry about. As far as like being a craftsperson who does anything creative, whether it's being photographer, editor, colorist, musician, I mean, then that, like, this is what we always say. Where are you gonna go? You're gonna go where the money is. Where's the money? Brands hold the money. Brands have more money than governments do. I'm not sure people realize this, but like business is literally shaping the way countries are run. Like, so, and they need to communicate. And in order to actually get attention, they need to communicate in a culturally relevant way. Do you see, I'm using all these big words because I'm trying to be credible and also culturally relevant,
That's the Tommy brand, yeah.
right? But even a 5-year-old will understand. Like, you want to do something that will resonate with people, there's got to be some kind of a creative concept behind it, you know? And music plays such a large part because it's not so easy to create a remarkable track. I know people will say, oh, AI, all this, all that. Yeah. But the problem with that is you have now an infinite supply of good sounding tracks. So that makes a case even more for how hard it is to create a track that stands out. Now, who do you think is going to make that track? Is it AI? No, because AI is always a step behind the humans. So I guarantee you in 5 years, AI will be learning how to make bad tracks. By bad, I mean like Bob Dylan, mono recording, terrible singing, great poetry, guitar irrelevant, somewhere in the background. AI will be like, how do you make it so that like people are just like blown away by something, and it's not because of the production value, it's because the person behind, the human behind it, is creating something special. And it's hard for us to even put our finger on why that is so.
Mm.
That's gonna be, I think, always the game. Always. That brands will always look for that special vibe, especially when they realize that it's no competitive advantage to use the same AI that some kid in the basement is using to create something that looks fully polished and remarkable. Yeah, so what? So what when we're surrounded by it, right? So being a remarkable musician, finding your voice, and then lending it out or leasing it out to big brands, I think is always going to be relevant because they're always going to be looking for that voice that AI can't easily replicate.
100%. Have you seen the movie The Incredibles? Like,
I have,
that
yeah, like, I
okay.
kinda watch it, but I don't, like, my kids watch it, and then I'm kinda, like, looking at it once in a while, looking at the screen.
Well, the main villain of the Incredibles movie is named Syndrome, and basically he creates this tech which allows him to basically play a superhero. There are people with natural born superpowers. He makes himself a suit that lets him play as a superhero, and he plans to give this technology to everyone. And his famous line is, "When everyone has powers." Oh, sorry. His famous line is, "When everyone is super, no one is. And it's the same thing. Like once the AI becomes the benchmark, that is no longer exceptional by definition. The exceptional
Yeah,
thing has to be an exception to the rule. And so I
you
agree
got
that
it. You
at every step of the way, it's going to be somebody doing something different.
and don't get me wrong, AI is doing incredible things, but even when I notice myself interacting with I notice myself surrendering and relinquishing more and more of what I should ultimately be doing. So to give you a specific example, I think the AI and technology and automation is absolutely incredible as far as helping us to speed up things that maybe are more tedious or like that we shouldn't even be doing, right? But if we are to move forward as far as like human beings and as craftspeople and as artists, it's not about relinquishing the things that make us poetic, the things that make us weird, the things that make us idiosyncratic, the things that make us just flow and then press record and then suddenly someone else is listening to you and they're like, "Psh," right? I know it's impressive that AI can create talking heads now and it's probably going to get better and better, but I just hope that it never this is my hope and my belief that I just don't think AI will ever be able to replicate humanity at its best. And when I say at its best, I mean making the mistakes, stumbling, freestyling, freestyling, like, um, yeah, just being human, just being vulnerable. And so the paradox is, I think, as AI gets better, I think the more raw, the more vulnerable performances will become the thing. And I'm willing to put money on this. Just watch 3 years from now, raw content coming out from culturally relevant brands, like raw, raw, raw. Like Apple, who wants to be the friend of a 22-year-old creator
Mm.
who couldn't give a shit about how impressive AI is because he's looking or she's looking for something real. So so the way I look at AI is like great secretary, great automator, great assistant. Um, when it comes to creation, be careful because the moment AI starts writing emails and songs for you, and it will be very impressive, you will be tempted to relinquish that work and say, well, why would I write the email if, or the song, if AI did it as good or maybe even better than me? Well, then what are you doing? Like, you're just gonna copy and paste it and send it? Okay, so then what's your role? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so now we're working for AI suddenly. AI is gonna do the thing, figure out the strategy, write the song. I don't think that's a good place to be in, and I think we should kinda nerd out and revert back. Maybe it feels like taking a step back, but I think it's like taking 2 steps forward to open your analog notebook and go, "I'm gonna write this letter. I'm gonna write this email. I'm gonna write this song." And, when a question comes up, like, "Why would you do that if AI can do that?" Go, "Because that's what I choose. I choose to be human. I choose to be a songwriter. I choose to be a writer. I choose to be someone who exercises their creativity, um, in a very considered, intentional way." And that means that I'm actually sitting away from the screen because it might influence me. Um, I can't tell you how much, for instance, jamming on my Ableton Push standalone, which is hiding back there, or jamming on my Electron Digitact, where there is no Ableton Live with my huge plugin library, which keeps expanding and expanding. But what is it doing to me? Quite honestly, I'm getting more of a vibe when there isn't 1,000 plugins available, and I just gotta figure out, like, how this box works. And I know a lot of people have this experience. There's a lot of young people
Yeah.
who didn't grow up as me, like, as a DJ playing on vinyl and carrying heavy record crates up a flight of stairs or even ladders trying to get to the DJ booth, with bouncers going, "How are you, such a scrawny guy, able to lift these things?" Yeah, because when you do something over and over, you just get better at it. But I see 22-year-old, 19-year-old kids now on YouTube, somewhere out there in the world, like, working on 30-year-old samplers, sampling vinyl records. They didn't grow up that way, they chose it. There must be a good reason why. Maybe because it makes them feel more human, more like they're connected to their creativity, like they are not distracted by all the things, and they can just focus on getting the vibe right, right? So, um, I don't even remember your original question or comment. I think it was about The Incredibles.
You nailed it. No, no, no. We went on a great tangent, and I totally relate to that. As like there's a lot of joy that comes out of just picking up an acoustic guitar and not recording it, because as soon as I record it, I got to think about what preamp I'm using and how I'm going to EQ the highs. It's just immediately
Totally
becomes
lose
so
the
much more
flow.
draining. Yeah.
Totally lose the flow, right? But, like, here's the thing. Can your recording be made a lot better on your own without hiring a $400 an hour studio, which we used to have to do? Yes. So, what we need to do more than ever is really be conscious and intentional about our workflow and about our philosophy more than ever, because the laptop and AI and everything and the tools are so powerful. Again, I'm gonna say this again, there's a temptation to relinquish slowly the work to it. It's like, "Well, your take wasn't so good. Why don't I just use AI to refine your take?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah, sure." Right? And it's like, just realize that this question was asked to 1,000 musicians right now. "Oh, your take wasn't so good. Why don't I just refine it?" So, like, if everyone's using the same refinement AI, what is the difference now? Like, why were you born? I'm sorry to ask so brutally, but, like, maybe you were born to play it badly.